It's great to be here today on such a sunny day in Tullamore. As Ronan said, I'm here today to talk about group succession planning, why it's important and how you can create a succession plan for your own group using the toolkit that you can find inside this succession planning guide for community archives and heritage groups. But before we delve into that, I just want to give you a little bit of background on this resource. So this was created by the Irish Community Archive Network. ICAN is an initiative which over the last 15 years has become the leading organisation championing and supporting community archives in Ireland. Move this on. It is an initiative that I suppose recognises the significance and importance of local collections, and its mission is to support and encourage volunteer groups to gather, research, digitise and make accessible their local history and heritage collections online. So what is community archiving? Well, I suppose community archiving is a kind of an umbrella term that encapsulates much of the community heritage activity that is so active around the country. I suppose key principles of community archiving is that the collections are within the ownership of the community and that they are created by, with and for the community. So when groups join ICAN, they are guided on a step-by-step journey on how to design, create, develop and maintain a community archive website. Our platform, I suppose, is designed custom-built for this purpose, very user-friendly, but what makes it special is that it is contributory. That means anybody anywhere in the world can contribute material to that community archive, and we have had some amazing items accessioned into local collections from, I suppose, our main destinations for emigration, such as America, Canada, Australia and Great Britain. And here you can see one of our most recently launched community archives for Boris O'Lee in Tipperary, which sits on the Heritage Tipperary portal if you want to check that out. We currently actually have 46 community archives live online that you can explore. We've 4 in development, and we're currently working in counties Clare, Cork, Galway, Mayo, Tipperary, Wicklow, and we've just started in Sligo. We've high demand across the country, so we're just initiating a project in County Carlow, and we'll be moving to Limerick later on this year. This is a partnership initiative, so ICAN, I suppose, was initiated by the National Museum, but it's delivered in partnership with the Heritage Council, local authority heritage offices and community volunteers across the country and abroad as well. I suppose a key part of our offering and our support is our training programme, and on this slide you can see some of the training offerings that we have. And I'm just spotted Francis down there. Hi, Francis. Francis is one of our community members and is on our advisory group as well, just to note that. I suppose the training that we provide is very much informed by the aims and needs of our members. We have core training modules, we have requested training that we very much try and accommodate, and we have skill and knowledge sharing sessions. So I thought it might be nice for you to hear directly from one of our members in this very short video. I'm not sure, Ronan. Oh yeah, here we go.
So Milltown Heritage Group is based in the small village called Milltown, just outside Tuam in County Galway. Our aim is to enhance, preserve and share our heritage and history and make this available for present and future generations. In 2014, that Milltown Heritage became a member of Irish Community Archive Network. We were trained in how to write and present online content, and we used three main categories: people, places and topics, to highlight our cultural, natural and built heritage. One of our most popular posts would be our group photographs. And our group photographs, they really connect with people as they bring back fond memories of family and friends. The digitisation of our graveyard records has become a really important genealogical resource as it connects people with their ancestors. The records that are available on our website are really useful for people living abroad to help them research their family history. Our special letter collection is one of the projects we're really proud of. This collection consists of over 130 letters. They date back to important times in Ireland's history. They came from three different families: the McHugh family, the Welsh family, and the Delaney family. The Welsh family, they live in Boston, and it was through our website that they contacted us about their letters, and we discovered local man Liam Delaney had another collection of letters, and these were unique in that these were picture postcards. Our ICAN experience has helped us create a living archive, and this helps us create pride in our past and present, which will preserve the future of our heritage.
Thanks to Pauline there in Milltown Heritage Group. So I suppose ICAN recognises the crucial role that volunteer groups like yours make to our history and heritage sectors, and through the course of our work we've really come to understand the key challenges faced by these groups carrying out work on the ground. As a result, we've developed a number of resources that have application beyond ICAN, and there are copies here for everybody that would like them. I'll bring them in at lunchtime. I had to park in the car park over the road and I couldn't carry them in, so I'll make sure I bring them in before I go. The two key resources that we published last year are a guide to researching and writing local history, authored by Dr. Tomas McCamara, an award-winning historian and author, and our succession planning guide. So as succession planning is the focus of our session today, I best move on to that now. I just want to ask, how many people here would be members of volunteer groups? Okay, brilliant. So most of you. And of those that put their hands up, how many of you have a group succession plan? Ooh, okay. We one in development, perhaps? You've ideas. Well, I just want to say well done for even having ideas, because this is something that is so important, but many groups just, I suppose, are so busy actually carrying out the work on the ground that they don't really recognise the importance of it. Let's have a look now. So just a bit of background here. So I suppose the resource itself is really looking at future-proofing your group. The importance of not only attracting new members but retaining the ones that you have. It gives some guidance on forward planning and record keeping, and also protecting, which is very much important to us in ICAN, your websites and online assets. It's been developed in response to our members' concerns. I suppose we have quite a lot of groups that communicate that they struggle to get new members, particularly those in smaller rural areas where the catchment isn't maybe as large. So our goal is to ensure the long-term sustainabilities of the groups so that we can ensure the long-term sustainabilities of their archives. And I suppose the resource itself is very much informed by our members' experience, and we would have had their input into the resource or as we developed it. So I suppose part one of the guide focuses on group succession planning and has lots of tips to ensure that membership remains healthy and robust, and that knowledge and skills and expertise are retained. So really, it's not rocket science. A lot of this is common sense. It's just really about the intention and putting time aside to do this task. So really, there are 6 steps to consider when you are developing a plan. You want to be identifying your long-term goals and defining your objectives. We recommend in the resource that you start with a 3-year plan. And then, okay, so what do you want to achieve over the next 3 years? Identify those and then break down into a task list what you need to do in order to achieve those goals. It's also important to identify the likely development of the group over that period of time. Identifies what skills that are going to be required in order for you to deliver on your objectives, and also undertake an exercise to match your members to the required skills. Identify gaps and where you might create a training plan to upskill and also to fill those gaps. And then draw conclusions and make recommendations. So there are templates in the guide that you can use to start building your succession plan. Okay, so in terms of procedures, I don't know, I'm a bit of a nerd. I love a few procedures. It makes everything clear to everybody. But I suppose it really is a good idea to prepare for somebody leaving unexpectedly, especially if they hold a key role. So it's a good idea to have a set of written procedures available in a central place where more than one person has access to them. These could include committee roles, role descriptions, meeting procedures, as well as the contact details of important service providers. Also a good idea is to have a calendar of key dates, things like insurance renewal, for example. So that's a good addition to have as well. You might want to consider auditing your group to give you a baseline understanding of where your group is at. By auditing both your group and your operations, you can ensure that you're going to be running effectively. So it can identify gaps in key operational areas, help you create a task list or an action list to address any issues or grey areas. Ideally, it should be done on an annual basis and included as an agenda item at your first meeting of the year. It really is a form of business planning and risk management. You can use our audit checklist in the guide to get a baseline reading, and then use the audit form annually to ensure that you continue to have everything that you need in place to run to run smoothly and keep everybody on the same page. The guide provides you with quite a few templates for record keeping so that everyone can access information vital to the group's well-being and operations. Every group's going to have different requirements, so there are 3 main record-keeping templates for committee, for projects and for resources, and we've provided a blank template so that you can tailor that to your own needs. So you can use the guide as a workbook, or we have a PDF copy for download, so you can, fill that in manually, handwritten, and you can photocopy the pages maybe that are relevant for you. So keeping membership numbers healthy is really challenging, as I said, for a lot of groups. So firstly, your first task is keeping the members that you already have. So some tips for retaining members would be ensure that you have good communication between your committee and your membership. Recognise that everybody has their abilities and that everybody can make a contribution. So encourage all members to try out the different committee roles as well. And I think members often feel more valued if they're involved and included in decision making. And I think providing training, giving people opportunities to learn something or to upskill is really important. And you can use the audit and group development templates in the guide to identify your training needs. So what about recruiting new members? Okay, so I suppose we want to communicate the range of ways that new volunteers can get involved. I mean, you'll probably experience this when you try, you have your AGM and you're asking people, do they want to get involved or take a committee role, and you can see everybody kind of looking at the ground and like, oh, a little bit shifty. And I think that's just because people are really busy. Everybody is time poor. But there are lots of different ways people can get involved, and it doesn't have to be on a full-time basis. So, for example, you could think about advertising or communicating. We have a particular task that we're trying to get done this year. Do you have 2 hours a week that you can spend on maybe transcribing an oral history or digitising some photographs for us? That's more manageable for people. It's not so scary. It's not such a big commitment. And once you've hooked them in and they enjoy it, then they might give you more time. So you could offer a reciprocal deal. For example, I know a lot of volunteer groups are involved in genealogy because a lot of the records they have would be relevant to that. So you could offer to do somebody's family history for them in return for so many hours of their time. Also, in this digital age, highlight that volunteers can often contribute their time online. Plenty of our groups actually now, since COVID really, which is one of the positive things that came out of COVID, have members in other countries. I'm thinking of Moy Cullen Heritage that has committee members in San Jose, California, leading on a project. Claire Castle has a member in Australia that's working on transcribing the Griffiths cancelled land books. Also, many of you will have either websites, community archives, or Facebook accounts. Perhaps they could help out doing a few hours on that. So don't limit yourself just to volunteers that can be there in person. And if you do offer any other benefits, make sure that you highlight these. So getting young people involved. I think we very much need our upcoming generations to take up the baton in the future. So getting younger people involved and getting them involved early can instill a love and appreciation of heritage that will last a lifetime. So they could be the key to sustaining your group into the future. So consider linking in with your, I suppose, secondary school, your local college. What about the Faroga Club? Maybe suggest that you do a project together. Also, many universities do recruitment fairs. You could have a stand there and talk about the benefits of volunteering, because, the skills and the knowledge that somebody gains through working with a history or heritage or volunteer group is something that they can put on their CV. You could consider setting up a youth committee. And also, we have so much more technology now. The filmmaking, editing, creating stories and reels for social media. These might be the kinds of tasks that would attract young people into your committee. And again, communicate those benefits to them, such as the skills development as well as the social aspect. So talking about social media, most groups have a social media account, with Facebook being really the primary channel. So that can be a good tool for attracting new members as well. And as I said, some roles may have the potential to be formed remotely, so, consider opening up to your diaspora. And show the variety of the types of tasks that you undertake. Because I think a lot of people, they just hear volunteering, they hear committee, they hear meetings, long meetings, and they don't realise the range of amazing things that they can get involved in. And also, when you're promoting these opportunities, use a warm, inviting tone. Make it sound exciting. And as was previously referred to, when you are doing your campaigns, connect with others by messaging them, asking them to share, tagging and reaching out to similar organisations. So, also, another one there, which I missed, engage with your followers, reply to their comments, things like that. That really helps build up your followership. Okay, so hopefully you'll find some of these tips helpful. They can all be found in the guide. Part 2 of the guide actually focuses on protecting access to your online assets. So most groups do utilise websites to collaborate, promote their work and to engage others. So online platforms are really effective tools for communicating to your local community and extending your reach dramatically. If you do have a website, it's most likely that you've spent money on this. You've spent time and effort getting it set up, keeping it going. You're paying your annual hosting and maintenance fees. So it is an asset that you want to ensure that you can continue to access. But it's also likely that looking after this asset falls to maybe 1 or 2 people. And what happens if for any reason these people suddenly become unavailable? Uh-oh. Do we know all the passwords? Do we know the domain registration or the hosting arrangements? What if the annual bill needs paying and nobody knows? What do we do if the website goes down? To avoid the dreaded 404, use our website succession planning toolkit in the guide to record all of the information someone would need in these circumstances, including your logins, your usernames, even your passwords, contact details, plus there is a specific section for website domain and hosting companies. Honestly, if you take nothing else away from this session, I would urge you to do this at least to avoid the worst case scenarios, and do believe me, they are happening. So, short but sweet, thank you very much for your time and for listening. Our website and contact details are on this slide and also on the back of the guide, which I'll leave out for you to collect after lunch, along with a copy of the local history guide as well. So happy to take any questions. Thanks very much.